Welcome, everybody, to This Is Difficult, the podcast, renowned for linguist skills. I'm just clearly the best linguist. Talking about video games.
Funny. Paul and I were just talking about linguistics before you got here.
I do love Linguini.
Linguini's good. I actually think Linguini is. I think Linguini is superior to spaghetti.
I'd agree. I think spaghetti is the cop out easy mode.
Yeah. No. It's easier to get it al dente. I like the wideness. I think it catches the sauce better.
Al dente.
I got to make a play for Angel Hair, guys.
Angel Hair. Well, hey, what about a curveball on the spirals here, as well as the hollow long boys?
Yeah, those are great too. Angel Hair is really easy to overcook. On the other hand,
that is also true. So. That is very, very true.
Yeah,
but it's like you
throw it against the wall and
with like a good either chicken or shrimp scampi.
Like, you gotta do Angel Hair for shrimp scampi. Yes, yeah. Shrimp scampi is one of my favorite dishes on the planet.
But as we were saying, welcome to the Food
Scampi is my favorite, and yes, gotta go Angel
podcast. We are now a food podcast, and
forever.
We're going to be reviewing Wendy's tonight. The mixed spicy. All right. Anyway. I probably had Wendy's in the last year. I'm sure.
I can't tell you the last time I had Wendy's. I don't dislike Wendy's.
Last thing I had was Good Times, which out here is pretty higher quality for fast food is concerned. So
we really are down this rabbit hole, aren't we?
We are down. We're just having fun. All right. Yeah. I am your co-host, Lord Yeshua. It is Josh himself. This is the human version. And then we are on Paul's channel. It's Ryugami-san. Yes. Another letdown. It's Zach rolling on the line. Yeah. And what are we talking about? We're just doing some bullshit, and Paul, take us over.
Just doing some bullshit. Just talking about what we did this week. Zach, how you been? What did you have a good week? Playing any games?
Yeah,
any exciting life events?
I had a week off from work, which was delightful. I spent a little bit of time sorting comics at the store, but most of my free time was spent crashing through more Pokemon.
Oh, never mind.
Dude,
just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm fucking with you. I had to because we're live now.
Dude, Pokemon.
No, the graphics card will be here tomorrow, or the power supply rather will be here tomorrow. So
I will say I still feel like I'm missing out on Pokemon because now I'm almost certainly not going to play it until June. You know what I mean?
Right.
At the earliest, June, July. And I'm pretty sure I will play this game. I think I will play Arceus.
It's the best Pokemon game I've played in a very long time.
I might get
long time.
I might get it before Violet and just see what's up.
Yeah,
I'll get Violet because it's the only
I would only because I think that this is almost like a beta for Violet and whatever.
Once that comes out,
if that is the case, I'm in hook, line, and sinker on Violet.
Yeah,
and it's got to be Violet. That's my favorite color. But
and also I don't remember the other one.
Whatever the red color is.
Jupiter.
I don't know.
It's red.
Scarlet.
Actually,
see, I always go red.
I actually like that a lot. Yeah,
I typically go red because my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Red, and I like fire type Pokemon and things like that.
Violet would be the blue technically, wouldn't it? Although it's purple, so technically both are red.
That's true.
I've got the Pokemon Red 3DS.
I'll have to see the cover art. I'm really gonna flip a coin on which legendary is sweeter. I used to.
But yeah, so I rolled credits on that, and there is an astonishing amount of gameplay left.
I told you, there's a huge amount of story after the credits roll, a huge amount, and it's very good content. It's not shitty side content.
No, it's legit.
DLC.
Yeah.
That's true. We did, and so I'm going to be playing that for a while, until I have enough time to get the power supply and the graphics card situated and working in my PC. That's going to be my main off camera game.
Excellent.
Although I do have, a couple of PS5 games as well. I did play. I played some more Spider-Man, but I got into this weird spot in Spider-Man where I accidentally triggered the final event in the DLC.
Oh no!
So I just got too close to it and it triggered, and I was like, oh, I've still got a boatload of side quest crap to do. Now watch me do this crap. I'm sorry, this is not very entertaining.
Can you reload a save or something like that?
No,
you can't do that.
By the time I realized it, I had already finished the fight.
Oh no!
And I was just like, that's Hammerhead. Oh, okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. So no, I mean we had a good time. There was quite a few people watching. I was rated by one of my friends, and so I had a dozen people watching, and So we were just talking comic books, and it was actually pretty cool.
That is cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a good stream. So yeah, and then I'm looking forward to pretty much the same this week.
Cool.
Quick question:
cool.
Would you trade the autosave feature of today for the old school save whenever you want feature? The tedium of like having to save point. I honestly maybe prefer the old method because it allowed you to stop and kill your progress.
I like a hybrid.
Yeah.
I like to be able to create a save
swapped.
at any time.
Okay.
But also have an autosave. And a lot of games do that. So
And now they're so frequent. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Kind of insane,
yeah. But the other thing, like when I'm playing a retro game, almost invariably I'm using if I'm using the Retron, I'm using save states.
Yeah.
True though, we are always using save states.
Because and part of that is the ability to break up the action and take a minute, like wipe my hands off, catch my breath. Like you know,
well, some of those older games have the opposite problem. Like saves are too few and far between, or non-existent, if you go back far enough.
Or like Ocarina of Time, for example, like there's just like 2 save points for being an adult. So you start quit, and you always start at the Temple of Time if you're an adult, or Lynx's house if you're a kid. And it's just like, you know what I mean? No matter where you save. But the first game to really nail it, I thought, was Pokemon. Like,
absolutely.
Red and Blue, I was like, I save and restart exactly where I saved. That's genius.
It is literally a save state.
And I was like, who thought of that? The most perfect.
Well,
but fact, that was the first time we ever saw it, really.
Well, in fact, I mean, it is literally a save state. Like in the code, it is 100% a save state.
Very cool. And that's genius because then you can. I mean, the newer Pokemon games probably have autosave though.
Oh, they have. Yeah, they have. Arceus has amazing autosave.
You can manually save in Arceus as well. Yeah. Which is cool, but I don't know. I don't think you can have multiple save files.
It's probably just redo fights and stuff.
Yeah,
maybe it does.
But yeah, I had a very busy week. Work has been hell. I mean, it's been very productive, but it's been just like insanely busy. I did manage to play a lot of Elden Ring.
Never even heard of that game.
I've been going between 2 different saves, right? So there's like my on-screen character, like the one that I stream with, and my samurai, and then I've got like a Guts-esque character.
Are you going tank for that, or?
Yeah, he's like a strength, dexterity build, or not even like strength endurance build kind of thing.
Pretty much just like clobber them with a giant hammer.
Yeah, both of my characters have really low HP though. I need to focus on that. But here's my problem in that game is I'll find something that I want to try and I won't have the stat requirements, so I'll start speccing into that. And then like my stats will get way too spread out. Yeah, I know. I mean,
just do all of it. That's mine. I plan on being a fucking grand wizard by the time that can chop your head off from afar, like with the blade.
Anyway, so it's cool. I'm really enjoying that game. I do have some complaints about the game. I'll probably go into way more detail of it when we finally get around to reviewing it. But couple minor. Yeah, it is a long way off, but like minor things like the kind of fatigue that I feel when I play Souls games when it comes to I get a little bit, and it's more just from stress because they are stressful games.
That's true though.
And I don't really know what I'm doing ever unless I'm using a walkthrough. Like that's kind of amplified a little bit in this because it's so much bigger than any previous Souls game. On top of that, I've talked about open world fatigue a lot, and I don't think this game is nearly as bad as most other open world games.
I would 100% agree.
But it is still a massive game, and I still am experiencing a little bit, but not enough to make me want to quit.
There's one thing about the game, it does rank nicely. So you'll get squished real quick by an enemy and you'll be like, oh yeah, I can't fight here. And you'll just like not be able to, really do anything but explore in that area. And, so like it does kind of like grade the enemies in each area to prevent you from just like exploring 100% of the map. You know what I mean? That's how it's doing it for me.
Yes and no.
Where I'm kind of like mentally spidering out just so I can eventually actually beat the enemies I encounter. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
not everyone's doing that, I guess.
Right. And there's I don't know. I have other things, but we'll get more into that when we finally review it. I don't want to sit here and list
I know
all
we could
my
really say so
grievances,
many things about this game.
But
it's kind of
again, there's nothing that makes me not want to keep playing it though, because it's very good. It what it lacks in some departments, it makes up for in other departments. So
I will say some of the difficulties of it are on purpose. I feel like to kind of give you that languish, that kind of
oh, I mean that's any
this
Souls game.
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not to say the game is tedious, but it
Yeah.
has moments that can be to show you what your character is experiencing, basically, the pain that they would experience, which I think is fucking awesome. Because I've never really played a Souls game this deeply. Like me and Colin played Dark Souls 3, and I played Bloodborne and stuff, but I'm like,
you should solo Dark Souls 1. I did that. No, it's
I played
awesome.
Demon Souls 2, actually.
Yeah, Demon Souls is awesome. But you can get Dark Souls remastered on the Switch, which I did, and I soloed my way through that game, and it was a fucking blast. I loved it. In fact, I've probably had more fun in that game than I have in any other Souls game.
Including Elden Ring?
Well, I mean, I can't say that because I'm still pretty early in the game in Elden Ring, so. But definitely, I would say
hours in
you should check that out at some point. I know, right?
It's
anyway.
literally pretty early still, though. Fuck.
Yeah, and I've been splitting it between two characters, so I'm probably half as far as I would be if I was just doing one.
Fair. Anyway, as you were.
Well, as you were, Josh, because I'm gonna point it at you and ask you how your week was and what you did and what games you played.
It was good, week's good. And what did Zach say?
I said, "Oh, are you two done?"
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, no, I'm not. I have to talk about Elden Ring now. So
okay, right back to the conversation.
Yeah, a lot of working and whatevering and some gaming. Me and Colin have devoured a lot of co-op time in Elden Ring, and I have a lot of testaments on the co-op at least.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that there's a ton of connection errors and it's a blast. And I'll be honest, I think the connection errors stem from your computer warming up to the game and
Sure.
it's not quite, you know what I mean? And so it usually happens when we first start once or twice, and then it doesn't happen for the rest of the time we're together. So which will be hours. That game is so fucking good. Yeah, I really want to say a lot about it, and I'm holding myself back with chains on all of my limbs so I can not it's just a really fun experience. Solo is really fun. It's refreshing to play alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get with your buddy, you're like, damn, it's that's what the game is about. I feel like it's like a Dungeons and Dragons adventure at that point. It's more strategic and stuff. And then you're back.
It's almost harder when I've noticed.
It can be.
Yeah.
The nerfs of no summons and no horse can make things more difficult. I'll often have to break off.
I also noticed I do a lot less damage in my when I'm co-oping with my brother against
you get
enemies.
Equalized. I think your levels, your powers get matched. Whoever invades the other person.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that me and Colin were saying that too. Whenever he joins my game, because I'm a lower level, we do really well. Because he's you know what I mean. But whenever I join his game, it's much more difficult because I'm not as high of a level as he is. He's getting nerfed down.
Adam and I were switching off who was hosting, and I found a very similar level of difficulty regardless of who was hosting.
Maybe we were just getting some weird RNG then. That's possible also.
Yeah.
He's going to sleep. Okay. I don't have anything else to say about this game aside from I'm having a blast and I haven't been as into a game, period, in a really long time. I put 40 hours into this game over the course of the 12 days I've had it. And, even a lot of that is title screen also, I'll be honest, just leaving it there. And it's a fucking blast. Not a lot of it, but 3 or 4 hours of it possibly.
So I do have a question for you guys.
Yeah, let's
about it. And this is all joking and gagging aside. My biggest concern, and it's not just you guys. Okay. All my buddies at the store that I was talking to yesterday, all my friends online, separate from our Discord community, are so into this game.
Yeah,
of course. Everyone I know is like obsessed
Yeah,
with this game right now.
And I'm like,
it is the
okay,
game.
What if? Like, am I going to get excommunicated if I absolutely hate it?
Yes. Yes.
Like, I'm so scared of that.
No, it 100% is not. It's like literally like Lord of the Rings comes out, and some people don't even give a shit. They're like, I'm not into Lord of the Rings. And some people are like,
Lord of the Rings sucks.
Shut the fuck up. And some people saw it and they fell asleep, like my mom, and they just like, they don't care. They're like, oh, it was nice, but I fell asleep. And some people are super into it. And
I fell asleep like 4 fucking times in the last one.
Thing. We're nerds in the nerd community, and so we see a lot of people that are into it just because they kind of like, we're hanging out with a lot of gamers all the time. So like we just notice it. But like I've talked to like some of my customers and stuff. Yeah. And I'll be like, oh, he's a gamer, and like, like, what are you playing? He's like, some random shit, this random shit, that
Call of Duty.
And I'm always like, exactly. And I'm always like, Elden Ring. I'm like, oh, I'm playing Elden Ring, and they're like, oh, maybe I should check into it. I'm like, it's literally the best fucking game, you Call of Duty piece of shit. But like, enjoy like shooting a human in the brain.
Here's the thing, Zach. I'll say this flat out. Souls games are not for everyone,
No, they're really not.
And it took me a very long time. In fact, I hated Souls games for a very long time.
Agreed. Too much. It was brutal.
And it took me a while to start to enjoy them, and it took me even longer to realize how to actually play them, and I still don't really know. That's
the beauty is they change it up.
Having literally, I have Dark Souls 3. I've never turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got it for free somewhere. And like I've never played a Souls game. Now the fact that I can play it with you guys and like get some help here and there is great. Like that's a huge selling point for me. As we've said on the podcast many times, co-op covers a world of hurt.
Oh yeah.
And
the best type of gaming together.
The big thing, and Paul and I were talking about this off camera, is I approach a game purely from a narrative point of view. If I'm going to enjoy a game, it's got to have good story, and it doesn't have to be overt. Like it doesn't have to be like cut and dried. If I'm going to stream it, it probably does because camera brain kicks in and I'm ADD all over the place. But if I'm playing a game like this with you guys, and one of you can be like, oh, did you talk to that guy, or did you catch this thing that this one person said? Or did you take a closer look at that thing? Like I'm going to be able to do that, and I think approaching it, I think it's almost a blessing for me to not be able to play this right off the bat.
Yeah,
because I've never played a Souls game, because I don't know what to look for. I can now wait until, like I was saying to Paul, I'm probably not going to play this game until he gets it on PC. Because and I know, Josh, that's like a ways out. I know, but like
I could get it tomorrow.
Well, sure, but like
I'm not going to.
Why?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's I need the time to install the new parts in my computer and make sure they're going to be stable and work and everything. And that's not trivial. Like that's at least a day's worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't have that right now.
Yeah.
So while I have the parts, I just don't have the wherewithal to install them. So I'm treating it as a blessing. Like you guys are going to have some familiarity with the environment and everything that's going on before I come in as a complete noob and try and learn it.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be really strong.
For sure.
Yes, I will agree. So me and Colin like exploring together, like it's really nice to have that person to bounce and be like, oh, did you check out this? And we're at the same, he's ahead of me a little bit because I work a lot like out of the house. And so, he gets ahead of me and then he's like, yo, I found this thing. And I'll be like, oh my God, I also found this thing. Let's check it out. And we'll just like swap files and shit. And you can gain so many souls that way too. And you learn things on different runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get a really good familiarity, but doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in that regard, well, yes, there's definitely some fear of missing out at this moment. Like I'm also
that game for a day
very
is
horrible. Yeah, I'm also very relieved that I can sort of rely on you guys to help me out a little bit, and that feels really good.
Yeah,
I'll be like, go fight that first baby boss real quick.
There you go, Josh. What else do you play this week?
Did I mention Elden Ring yet? I'm just kidding. What else did I play? And we can all play it together because it's a free fucking demo. I played. What the fuck is the full name of it? It's
in the
I
notes
know the
that I
first
pulled
part,
up
but
for
what's the
you.
second part?
It's in the
It's
notes.
in there too.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I forgot what kind of land it was.
I forgot which land.
So Kirby and the Forgotten Land, it was developed. I'm gonna do a mini review right here, guys. So I'm just gonna
Yeah,
briefly
let's hear
do
it.
this. So this is a free demo from Nintendo. This is literally a demo for a game that drops on March 25th by HAL Laboratory. And of course, you know, Nintendo. Kirby is one of the main lines, in my opinion, as far as Nintendo characters is concerned.
Yeah.
He's always got to have a game, a big like adventure game on each console. And this is that one. So we always get spin-offs and weird like gimmicky ones. And we got one on the Wii U that was like, okay, people said, and I never played it. And it was like a 4-player like side scroller. And people were like, okay, you know. In my opinion, Kirby hasn't been at its height since Crystal Shard on the 64. Crystal Shards, yeah. Which is, in my opinion, an incredible game.
A lot of the games that have come out have been really convoluted, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So Kirby has
Either
been
that or ridiculously simple.
Yeah.
exactly very
Like,
simple.
Air Ride was
Kirby has been very susceptible to gimmicks as well. Nintendo uses him as a prime target for gimmicks. You know what I mean? Like we get Yarn Kirby, we get the co-op Kirby that was the one on the Wii U that was heavily overlooked. We get there was the first 2-player Kirby was the Superstar one. That was really, as honestly, All Stars. I mean, that's like one of the best Kirbys as well. Crystal Shards was the 2 power-ups, which I thought was the height of Kirby right there. You can combine your power-ups for like what 80 combinations. That's fucking insane. Turn to a refrigerator, bro. When you combine ice and electricity, that's genius. Oh my god, amazing. Fire, water. You literally just like melt yourself real quick, and then you're done. It's amazing. I love Kirby. So what's this one? This one is Kirby is on his fully untethered adventure. He finally gets a shot at a big open game. I'm not saying the words open world. I'm saying this game is open. It feels a lot like Super Mario 3D World. So take it as you will. In my opinion,
yeah, okay. To me, it looked more like Odyssey, but
so it feels like it looks like Odyssey, which is beautiful. It like feels like it looks like Odyssey if you just saw a screenshot or someone streaming it. But then as soon as you play it yourself, you feel where the parameters are and you feel that you are boxed in a way. But
cool.
I'm not mad at that. It's still like a good. It's like
I'm not
level.
mad at that either.
No, and there is like dopamine city here. Like there's like so many dope ass power ups and leveled up versions of these power ups that are so amazing. And I guess this is one of the things I liked about the game. We're just gonna jump right into that. And just like so many fun things to collect throughout, like including like you could just like kick rocks as you're running. Like, oh, if you run into a rock, it like reveals a coin. It's like so many simple things, tons of secrets. And like, I wanted 100% it. I explored every inch of these levels and I played them on hard mode as well. And then after you beat the demo, spoiler alert for the demo, whatever, it gives you a version that's all the upgraded power-ups. So every time you absorb someone, it gives you like one of the upgrades and they're dope as fuck. Wielding the power-ups is really great. Kirby feels really good. He feels really good. It does feel like Odyssey. Like his puff is like really like unlimited almost.
Really puffy.
And then good puffy. And then the power-ups are varied enough and all fun enough. And of course, powered up versions of them add even more like, so like there's like the bombs that like shoots like really fast and it's super fun to do. And then you level it up and all the bombs like interconnect with each other. They're like electric bombs and cause these giant webs of like explosions and like just wreck enemies. And it's super fun. It's almost like Dynasty Warriors for Kirby, but there's not that many bad guys. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, but the bad guys are also not that easy. And there's a hard mode. There's literally a hard mode in this game that rewards you with more coins, which I'm assuming there's a store. There's like a Waddle Dee town that you unlock apparently by saving them. They gradually fill in the town, kind of like in Origami King with the toads. So I'm liking all the concepts so far. Let's see, what else did I not hit? What didn't I like about the game? Honestly, it's not as open world as they advertised. There's co-op in this game, so that's something to like about the game, by the way. But it doesn't really matter that it's not as open because it does feel like 3D World to me in Kirby version, especially with the co-op. And I'm like, this is awesome. And there's bosses and there's cutscenes and like tons of transformations. And Kirby has like the all range transformations that he can like absorb like natural items and just like become them, as opposed to like gaining crazy power-ups as well. Like the car, like the vending machine, and there's like a cone that like he just like spikes into the ground and like destroys it. And, like there's tons of fun puzzles and secrets to use with all these as well. It's not just like a linear thing, although there is like a linear path in each level, basically. If that makes sense. But they're all re-explorable, and there's like achievements in each level too. It's not like you have to necessarily find something, but like it'll be like do this or that, and at the end you'll like get more Waddle Dees for like achieving these things. So it kind of adds some more variety to the gameplay. And I was able to do them all in the first play, so it wasn't anything like, you got to go back and do that shit. But there is replayability if you do forget that stuff. So what else? Yeah, this game is really fun. It is very fun. Was it fun? The thing is asking me. Very fun. The story is, I'll just touch on it quickly. It's super light. It's a Kirby story. You shouldn't be expecting much, but it's actually really pretty. And like the opening cutscene looks really, really good. The art looks really, really good. Best looking Kirby game. Yeah, it looks like Odyssey, but it's Kirby and his art style. Music is great and sound design is great. And the demo is like an hour long actually, so it's a pretty meaty demo.
Oh, wow.
I will definitely be playing the entire version of the game since it's asking me about that. I'm kind of like doing a hybrid of this review here. So I'm definitely going to be getting this probably on launch day. I just felt like, okay, so yeah, let me touch on this. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and then I download this demo like 5 days into my Elden Ring playthrough, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really fucking fun too. This game is really fucking good. Like, holy shit, this is extremely enjoyable, and it's not Elden Ring. And so that felt really good that Nintendo was making something quality, and this game just feels really polished. And this is just the demo. So I feel like it's going to be a little tighter. And like, obviously, the more full version, it probably looks the same though. But
yeah,
so overall, I would say this is probably going to be a buy if you're a fan of Nintendo's trademark games. Like, I don't even have to say anything more than that. Like, if you got Metroid Dread, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, and you trust Animal Crossing, if you trust their main lines, I would get this game because I think this is the Kirby game of the console. It's going to be really fucking amazing.
Nice.
If I have to get
the Nintendo drops, there's like a quintet of staples for Nintendo, and it almost defines a console generation for them. Is Mario good? Is Zelda good? Is Metroid good? Is Kirby good? And is Pokemon good?
I wonder if that's why they're releasing another Zelda, is because Zelda wasn't necessarily that
it
great.
Could be. Or at least it could be like they see room for improvement, and they're like, okay, we can do better. We can really define this console generation by throwing.
I don't think we're going to see Zelda this generation, or it'll be a cross gen. I'm very firm on that.
It might be a cross.
So I'm
not even solid on my choice on that yet.
Right. But like 4 out of 5, clearly very good this console generation.
Very good. I will say if I had to give this a range, so I'm going to give it a range score because this is going to be the potential low end of the game if it doesn't meet my expectations, and the potential high end. And this could be higher or lower than either of these as well. This is not a solid score. And this is just like a range. I think this could either be a 7.5 to a 9.5, in my opinion. I think this has the potential to be an extremely good Nintendo entry, or it could just be a lackluster, repetitive thing. If it doesn't
if it doesn't build on what you have in the demo.
Yeah.
According to what I've seen, level 1, 2, and then 3, and then boss fight, and then replaying them all, it feels like it's going to progress really nicely. And I'm hoping for the high end, hoping for 9s. But
so you're looking, somewhere in the, it's a pretty wide range, but somewhere between where I put Space Marine and where Paul put Thousand Year Door.
I'd agree that this has the potential to be like as good as a Mario game. I would
Excellent.
Say. Yeah. So we'll see on the 25th. I'm sure I'm going to beat this game before I beat Elden Ring. Almost 99% positive about that, actually. So I'm probably going to get it, and then in a week I'll have beaten it, and I'll probably really enjoy this game and not be mad about it taking a week, and then be back to Elden Ring.
Well, I think part of that is the attention span of Nintendo tends to be a little bit shorter. Like Arceus, I could stop playing Arceus right now. I won't, but that took me 2 weeks, maybe not even, and that's a very, very casual playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nintendo's always like you can pick it up and have the time of your life, like with Snap, the just best time ever. And like the time it came out, it was just like everything. The stars align when Nintendo games come out. I feel like they're really good at timing, and it just felt so goddamn good to play that game. And now I have no interest in playing that game at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, right. And
I know it was really good.
And I was like, I'm just gonna play for a little while, sort of get my head back in the space. And I played for a couple of evenings, and I was like, all right, I'm done. Time to move on.
I haven't even beaten
I
Skyward
want to
Sword.
look and
for
see
the
how many
Switch.
hours I have in Arceus.
I literally only had like the Water Temple and Skyward Sword for the Switch. That's how like backed up I am on like Mario Golf. I haven't played any of the new DLC.
Oh, there's an
Yeah.
update that I didn't. I
There's
can't
updates
look.
for literally everything. Animal
Gotta-
Crossing, my poor town abandoned. Although sometimes I long for it a little. You know, you know what I mean? I'm just like,
I think my niece
that
is
memory. It's just like a quick 360 hours of my life, just like condensed from 3 months of it in this small memory that I just keep on my Switch. And I'm like, it's just weird to think about with Animal
Yeah.
Crossing.
Mhm.
Anyway,
yeah,
that's my Kirby.
you were balls deep in Animal Crossing for a while.
I was on Nookazon. I was literally on the Discords and like, dude, I was meeting like famous people and like it was insane, dude. It was amazing. I went to like art gallery showings through the game. Like I remember in the beginning, me and my buddy were like looking for unique things to do, like on Turnip Exchange. Like it would just be like open. Literally, this one was like an open art showing, and it was like an auction. And like you would sit there and like raise a thing, and like you would drop the bells, and he'd like give you a painting, and his island was like covered in rare art. It was super cool, and like there was like parties and like all of this. It was a community.
87 hours in
87?
in Arceus, and I'm not finished.
87.
No.
Like
I'm
I mean,
nowhere near it.
I'm
Hey,
finished
Hitting
with all
Animal
the
Crossing
story.
numbers? Let me know.
Yeah, I'm finished with all the story, but there's still things I want to do in the game, and I'm gonna keep playing it. And yeah, that like little bit of DLC dropped, so I think they actually added in some new missions and things. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep.
I think my big one is going to be Elden Ring, and it's going to be probably 1 to 180. I'm going to guess hours. I'm just going to guess, and I'm probably going to play it till like July, and then I'm going to be like, I need to stop playing this game.
Right
anyway,
on.
So that's me, and then we got a little topic here. Paul's going to like ping pong.
We do. So kind of piggybacking on the series that we just finished, which was our journey through the generations of consoles. We kind of intentionally left handhelds out because we want to do a special series for that, or mini series for that. So we're probably going to break this up into 2 to 3 parts, and we're starting the first part today. As you may have noticed, what was that, Zach?
I was just going to say, it was interesting. We started to research for this topic, or Paul did, and I started to sort of brainstorm what I was going to talk about, and I was like, oh, there's a lot more here to unpack than
that's what I said initially. It should be 2 parts, but
well, so initially we did plan on doing 2 parts, and we were going to stop right before the DS, and
I like that,
I started putting notes in, and I was like, man, we have way too much to talk about if we're going that far.
Let's just like do it. Fuck it. Let's just
yeah, we're gonna jump in. We are starting at the beginning. So in the beginning was the Mattel Microvision in 1979.
No way.
This was the first ever cartridge-based handheld. It had 12 basic games, such as like Blockbuster. Like they were like super simple, like tiny little dot matrix screen. And it was pretty simplistic. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. From 1980 to 1991, Nintendo released a series of little handheld devices called the Game & Watch series.
Shout it out in today's era. They re-releasing. They're doing one a year now.
Yeah, I've got the.
By the way, I think we
the
get
Zelda one right here.
The Zelda
it's
one.
kind
I'm
of getting
sad I
keyed
didn't
out.
get the Mario one. I think we get the Kirby one this year. It's Kirby's 35th.
Oh, that would be really cool.
We get the Kirby Dreamland.
And speaking of which,
I would really love that a lot.
That'd
Kirby
be
Dreamland and Kirby 1, 2, and 3 on the Game Boy.
Well, I'll probably talk about it more in a little bit.
I would love that.
Kirby is one of my favorite games by far on the Game Boy.
It's his 35th right now too. Isn't that insane? That's just all happening one after the other.
That is crazy.
We just had Mario, Zelda, now Kirby. Last year was also Metroid. Last year was Metroid and Zelda. The year before Mario, and now Kirby. All 35th year anniversaries. That's how hard Nintendo goes, and we're seeing the best iterations of some of these games now.
For sure.
Anyway, back as you were.
So yeah, these were just basic LCD devices with just one game on each device. But what's really notable about this is where we first saw the D-pad, and it actually won a technology and engineering Emmy Award.
That's incredible.
Which is really cool.
Emmy Award.
And obviously Nintendo then, added the D-pad to all their consoles going forward.
Even ones that don't need them, like the N64.
Yeah, no kidding. There were 60. There were 60 different games.
Very cool.
And they varied quite a bit, but some were dual screen, which was actually the inspiration for the DS later on down the road.
It was like a little pocket book.
Several other like LCD based games were released in the 80s. To be honest, they're not worth mentioning. There's a bazillion of them, and it would just take us forever to go on. But if you're interested, I'm sure you could look them up. And then in 1989, The King was born. There it is, the big gray brick right there.
Black one over there.
Yeah, I've got a backlit black one around here somewhere. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyway, the Nintendo Game Boy was released in '89.
One of the best console ideas ever.
Dude, this stupid white brick, gray brick.
How many memories?
So comfortable.
How many memories have you had on that brick, dude?
A million.
I put 200 hours into Pokemon Blue, and like I was 7. Like what?
Yeah, I've probably put more hours into my original Game Boy than almost
actually,
any other
anything.
Yeah, probably anything else.
That's actually probably thousands of hours into my
It was an 8-bit console that used interchangeable cartridges. While the Game Boy does have its drawbacks, like a green non-backlit dot matrix display.
It's endearing.
It's endearing for sure, and its library is over 1,000 games.
You could do anything.
Yeah,
dude. Some games like the Donkey Kong lands like really took advantage of the pixelization and looks like rendering still. Like some games like I feel like look really good on that.
Oh, dude, they did incredible work with that game. And dude, Nintendo really mastered that console, which is incredible. And there's so many games that I still will have the music playing through my head, like Kirby. Kirby, I think, has some of the best music from that generation.
Dude, Wario
was so good.
Yeah,
I would play all of these games again. Me and Colin literally recently.
I do play all these games all the time.
We played Mario and the 6 golden coins a month ago.
Yeah, 6 golden coins is amazing. The original Kirby and Kirby's Dream Land 2 is so freaking good with the animals and stuff.
I remember when my buddy gave me Kirby's Dream Land, and I was like,
yeah, for sure.
You couldn't even transform in the first one. You just slurp people.
But it was still incredible. It's such a freaking great game. Also in 1989, Atari released the Lynx, which was then followed by the Sega Game Gear and the NEC Turbo Express, which I hadn't even heard of until today. And that was in 90 was the Game Gear and the Turbo Express. Both the Lynx and the Turbo Express were 16-bit handhelds.
Insane
For that time. This was
Advanced.
No, Advanced was 32-bit, but
was it? Oh,
yep.
But 32-bit.
Yes. Anyway, the Game Gear was 8-bit. Strangely enough, all 3 consoles had color screens, but none of them had anywhere close to the library that the Game Boy had. Even that early, just a year later or 2 years later, Game Boy was already producing all these incredible games, which just made everything struggle.
It's also worth noting that the Game Gear had a longevity problem where most Game Boys, if you with some minor tweaks, this one needs a new screen, but with some minor tweaks would still work today.
Yeah. I've got an original Game Boy that still works. Yeah.
My Pocket still works. This one again needs repairs, but I do it. The Game Gear had a problem, a rather pervasive problem, wherein the capacitors would blow.
The capacitors, yeah.
They're
pretty easily replaced, though.
Yeah, my sister gave me our old Game Gear, and I need to replace I have a capacitor replacement kit. I just haven't had a chance to put it together.
Capacitor replacement.
Yeah,
kit.
I need to do
and
that for my friend's Game Gear too.
It does replace it. Yeah, because Paul, you and I were talking about doing it on camera together, just so we're kind of following the same instructions.
Yeah.
But it's not a difficult replacement, and you can replace them with capacitors that'll actually last.
Yeah.
So once you do it, you never have to do it again.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a problem for average end user who's just like, oh, my screen no longer work. Throw away.
Yeah, these early backlit color consoles were also prone to like really shitty battery life too.
Oh my god!
Like,
I mean, you put 4 AA's in this thing, they're dead in the morning.
Yeah, well, like the Game Boy, while it went through batteries quite a bit, it lasted way longer than any of these.
I got rechargeables for my birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I remember when that was a thing.
Dude, my brother had an official Nintendo recharger pack.
Did you? Did he? Mine, you like stuck him in a thing, put him in the wall. I brought it everywhere with me.
But my favorite thing was going through the house and trying to find pulling batteries out of every
remote, everything, flashlights,
kill your finger Duracell power checker.
Oh yeah. Get blisters on your thumbs.
They used to have those Duracells that you could like press your thing on it and it would like
power checker.
Okay. Those were awesome.
And then the Duracell Ultra dropped and it like immediately flashes bright blue on the power checker and you're like, yes, I'm good for like 2 days.
Yeah.
2 whole days of gaming.
Yeah, fantastic.
So insane when they used to pay to game like that.
Yeah. There were again other smaller consoles or like Game Boy clones, things like that came out during this time period. Again, there's kind of so many that it's not worth mentioning. If and most of these were absolute failures. So if you want to get information on those, go ahead and research that. Nintendo's next handheld. This actually was surprising to me. I didn't realize the timeline of this. Nintendo's next handheld was the Virtual Boy in 1995. And it was a flop, but it was kind of impressive. It was the first 32-bit handheld gaming device.
First VR attempt.
Yep, and the first device to have stereoscopic 3D graphics. The problem was, the big problem was headaches, right? Like you're looking at
blindness.
This. Yes. Yeah. It
like
literally people went blind.
I don't think anyone actually went blind.
Are you sure? I thought there was a recall on it because of blindness.
There was, yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I thought there was blindness.
Was there?
Yeah.
That's my memory of it is blindness.
I don't remember that. I do remember headaches being very common for people.
Me and my friend would play it in college. He was collecting all the old consoles, and we got Wario. And I played.
Wario's
it for
fucking awesome on it.
It was really good. I loved Wario. And then
so was tennis.
We were trading off. I think we had tennis too, actually. We were trading off, and it was like 10 minutes each. And he played for like 15 minutes one time, and he was like, "Oh, I need to stop. I don't feel so good."
Yeah.
And his like head was starting to hurt.
I've only actually played one time, and it was at a friend's house. And I loved it. And I didn't really experience those problems. I didn't play very long though. Maybe a total of 30 minutes. Exactly, but it was a blast. But yeah, it's a shame that it was such a flop and that it caused headaches. There wasn't very many games released. I think there's only like maybe 20 games, probably less than that.
Mario being the front runner.
Yeah.
I think really good game.
So yeah, unfortunate, but it's kind of ironic that Nintendo being at by far the top of the handheld game releases this, and it's a devastating loss for them.
It's a loss, but I don't know if it really hinders them because in the game
it didn't, and we'll definitely really, talk more about that for sure.
It becomes a collectible too.
Yeah,
kind of like a cult item.
That same year, 1995, Sega released the Sega Nomad. And this only released in the US, which is strange. I had one. I did not get one at release. I got one from my friend much later, and it was one of my most prized possessions. I've talked about this before. I miss that console so much. One day I'm going to buy one for an insanely inflated price on eBay, I'm sure. But But it was awesome, but it was also a flop. It did play full-sized Sega Genesis cartridges and could operate as a fully functional Sega Genesis console.
That's
You could
incredible.
plug
And
it
it
in
plugged
to a
in.
TV.
It's amazing.
Not only that, but you
It had
could
a
plug it in as a controller
Uh-huh.
to your Genesis.
It also
that's so
had
ahead of the game.
had auxiliary controller ports for multiplayer.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was really ahead of its time. It was an awesome machine. But yeah, poor marketing. It was expensive. It was also a battery hog.
Oh my god, it was the worst battery hog.
We're almost out of the battery hog era.
What's funny is it didn't have an internal battery compartment. So like it had an external battery case that you put 6 AA batteries in.
Silliest
and attached to the back of it, and it would last maybe an hour depending on how bright your screen was.
Why the planet is dying.
Josh, do you have any experience with the Nomad? Do you remember the Nomad? You're a little younger than
me. No, I'm a Neo Geo and like Game Boy guy.
So yeah, you know the battery pack on the Xbox 360 controllers?
Oh god, I hate that.
6 of those. That's what the Nomad had, but it was like yay wide. It was as wide as a Game & Watch.
Yeah,
it was. You had to like
that
and click it in. And if your battery wasn't, you had to quickly plug it into the wall, pop the batteries, replace them all in the Xbox thing, slam it back before your console died.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So crazy.
But it also had like the brightest freaking screen. It was adjustable, but you could turn it up so bright that you could light an entire room with it, which was a bad thing because it's very hard to find consoles these days, Nomads that don't have burnt out screens because of that. Mine had a perfect screen. It was flawless. God damn it! Why did I get rid of it? So stupid. Anyway,
well, you might want to put those rose-colored glasses aside for a bit.
It's possible.
Anyway, digressing. It was in perfect condition when I sold it. Anyway, in 1996, Nintendo refreshed the Game Boy with a Game Boy Pocket, a smaller version of the Game Boy. But beyond that, it was really kind of the same. There wasn't much difference.
Triple A's.
No, it's still double A's. It only took 2 double A's.
It was 2 triple A's. I do you want me to go? I think
it might be.
Yeah,
it's definitely triple.
Yeah, why don't we look? Because I don't believe
you. Paul. Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I actually do think it is triple A's, but I'm only like 70% sure.
Maybe it is triple A's.
Say it is, and it goes in sideways. It doesn't go in long ways like the original.
It goes this way. Yeah.
This way, not this way. Oops.
Oh. Maybe you're right. There was a little known fact. There was a backlit version of the Game Boy Pocket released only in Japan called the Game Boy Light. It's one of the most like sought after video game items still to this day. They're very cool. I would
the Game Boy Macro.
Micro. Yeah, that's also very sought after. Yeah,
I love that.
My friend had one, and I had the opportunity to get it from him many moons ago, and I regret.
It is really small though.
But they're so nice to play on. Like, and you can just toss it in your pocket.
My hands fall asleep like even on the Game & Watch though. Get some big meaty hands.
Yeah. Well, I think we lost Zach in his pile of game relics.
He realized that they were double A's, and then he's coming back to. No, just kidding.
Yeah, maybe they are triple A's.
I want to say, let's flip a coin. They are.
Yeah.
Google this.
Huh?
I said, wouldn't it be just easier to Google this?
Yeah, it would have been way easier.
You're our guy for that, so we need you in the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our guy in the chair.
It would have been way easier to Google this.
It's any other.
Guys, you can't talk at the same time because literally no one can hear either of you when you do it.
Does Game Boy Color and Game Boy Pocket use the same batteries?
No. Game Boy Color definitely uses 2 AA.
Does it? Because I have one right
Okay,
here.
Merc confirmed it. Thank you. Merc confirmed it in chat. He's holding both. Color was AA's, Pocket was AAA's. Hey, there you go.
Nice. There we go.
There you go.
Very
Vindication for you.
I'm holding both. That's so funny.
That's awesome.
Vindication for you, you lying bastard.
I know my Game Boy Pocket's around here somewhere. I just have no idea
To
where.
be fair, I never owned a Game Boy
I only
Pocket.
have
So
Color, Game Boy, and Advance. So I never had Pocket, I guess.
yeah, I never had a Pocket. I do have a Color though.
I have all
My
things,
my
but
original Color got ruined in a flood though. I'm very sad about that.
I got the pink one.
Oh, nice. I got
I
it.
loved Kirby. I wanted
Glacier
all
Blue.
of. Oh, I have the Advance.
I did have a lot of notes to continue into this the line of handheld games, but I didn't want to go really long on this. So let's get into our personal experiences. I do want to make a side note. We didn't mention Tiger Electronics. From 1994 to 1999, Hasbro released a series of one-off electronic handhelds called Tiger Electronic Games. And these were mostly like licensed titles, like it'd be like Power Rangers, or like there was even like reproductions of Nintendo games on there, but they were very simplistic. There was a set amount of sprites on the screen. It was funny because if you like pushed on it, you could see all of them. And then there was like a printed background behind there. But some of these were really cool. Like I had a football one that was a Blasty. And there was a whole bunch of these released. So while I wouldn't consider them in the same league as most of these other handhelds, I do think it's worth mentioning.
The Game Boy was almost as good as the Super Nintendo, to the point where they integrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's pretty high. Those are pretty big shoes. Oof.
For sure. Very, very big shoes. Anyway, thought I'd mention that. Let's get into personal experiences. What is your first memory of a handheld console and what was it? Let's start with Josh.
I get to start.
Yeah.
Mine was, of course, the Game Boy. I actually got a Game Boy before I got an N64, I want to say. So I had loved gaming since my buddy down the street had a Super Nintendo. But I don't know if it was too expensive or what, or if we just didn't want, like, we only got cable like when I was like 6, you know what I mean? So like maybe my family just wasn't into that shit. And so I was like, I want a game. And so they got me a Game Boy when I was like 5, I guess. I don't even know ages anymore. And I loved that shit. I got Donkey Kong Country 1. I think I got Donkey Kong Land 2, actually, and then Mario and the 6 Golden Coins right off the bat. And then I went back and got Donkey Kong Land 1, and then 3 came out the next year. But those games were so amazing. And I thought like Donkey Kong was so incredible. And I was like, oh, it's not like the big version like my friend has, but it's still like really fucking good. And then it came time to get a console. My mom was like, Super Nintendo N64. I actually went N64, went into the future, but I still had my Game Boy. So it was really good to be able to like kind of reach into those older games with it. And I played my Game Boy through college, like no joke, like forever. And I got the Super Game Boy what was it called? The Game Boy Player for the GameCube. And I exclusively played Game Boy games on my TV. Like honestly, probably into
Game
my
Boy Advance
20s.
Player.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance Player. Like even into my early 20s. Like when I bought that at GameStop, they didn't know what the fuck it was. I was like, I'm here for the Game Boy Advance Player, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, I think it's like that right there. Like the whole store didn't know, and like
that was like me getting the Elden Ring pre-order bonus.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't know this was a product. They were like, what? I remember I paid in like quarters too. I felt like an asshole because I was a kid.
Yeah, that's hilarious. We literally just lost Josh's sound.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
What have you done, Josh?
While Josh is figuring that out, Zach, what was your? We still can't hear you, homie. I don't
hear you now.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, my mic fell out. That was fun.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, it was amazing, and I played some Neo Geo too. But yeah, Game Boy is like one of the best consoles ever made. So
for sure.
Yeah, it really is. Pass the mic.
Yeah, Zach, what was your first handheld experience?
Actually, my first gaming experience at all was this very Game Boy.
Nice.
This has never left my. Well, it actually started out as my elder cousin Chris's. Chris, I don't remember why he gave it to me. I think it was a Christmas gift, maybe.
Christmas gift.
Like I would, yeah, right. I would go over to their house and like find it and play it, and it this old game called Solar Striker.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Never played it.
And it's so cool, and it's hard as hell, but it's super fun, and I still it is one of my favorite idle games today. I just hang out. If I'm idle, I'll play Solar Striker. And he saw me playing it all the time, and he's like, I never use this thing anymore. He was, he's very athletic, super into sport. And he was like, it was either Christmas or a birthday. It became mine, and even though it's totally shot to hell, I like the screen doesn't even turn on anymore. It needs. No. I can't bear to get rid of it. Because I still have Boy games. And I really think I can breathe new life into it if I can.
Yeah, you could definitely fix it. I could point you in the direction of how to.
You can mod them,
I know, Josh. I want to put a backlight screen in it.
No, you can like put library of games in it too.
Well, I know that too, but I wasn't about to say anything illegal.
Well, if you own each game,
sure.
Only gives you
it absolutely is. Playing Solar Striker at my aunt and uncle and cousin's house on this very Game Boy. And I will never ever forget it. It's definitely this is the console that is nearest and dearest to my heart.
Yeah,
it's the good shit, really.
Yeah, for me too. It was the Game Boy. My very first experience, there was someone, I forget his name. I want to say like Dusty or something like that.
Sounds like a kid.
That was he was a kid from our church, and he lent it to my brother. He lent him his Game Boy and a ton of games. There was like 20 games or something like that. Huge library of games. Dang. Amazing. And Adam and I switched off playing it. Mostly Adam, because that's kind of how things were back in the day. Yeah, he doesn't remember his name either. But Kirby was like the #1 game we played. Right. He had a ton of games, but Kirby was the game we played the most, if I remember correctly, at that time. And that was definitely my first exposure to a Game Boy. I didn't get my own Game Boy. Adam got one for his birthday, I think the following year. And then I got one for my birthday the following year, but I wasn't allowed to play it because it was like right before we were moving. Actually, that's not true. I was allowed to play it, but I only had one game. I had Zelda, and I couldn't fucking figure it out. Link's Awakening. I couldn't figure it out at all.
When the internet was young, I looked up how to get into Eagle Tower, and it was like one of those like fully scripted walkthroughs.
Sure.
I had to like scroll through it.
Yeah.
I was 7.
Yeah. And then right before we moved, which would have been the following year, because we moved right before my 8th birthday, Adam and we got to go to a used game store and pick out games, and I got Batman, and Adam got Speedy Gonzales. I thought it was Tiny Toons, but maybe not. Oh no, Tiny Toons was Flicks. I'm gonna say this very slowly. Flicks and Discs was the name of a rental store near our house that went out of business and sold all their games. And Adam and I got a ton of Game Boy games on the cheap, including like Metroid and a bunch of other really cool games.
Amazing.
That's really when our Game Boy library exploded, was then. Until then, we had Zelda. We had Adam's Game Boy came with Alleyway, and then I think
I had Alleyway.
A
friend just gave it to me because they were like, "This game's dumb," and I was like, "Wow, this game's
really is a really fun game."
Yeah, I was like, "This is fun." What are you talking? It's just basic, but like now this would be a free game nowadays.
Oh, it came with Mario 2, and our friends gave him Alleyway. The
Mario 2 is all you need. All you need is Mario 2.
Yeah. Yeah, but we had a very small library, and then those games that we got before we moved that we weren't allowed to play until we were on the car ride there from Colorado to Kansas City. But yeah, that was my first exposure to that, and holy shit, man, it like left such a lasting imprint
Yeah, it did.
on my life, you know.
I'm realizing how many of those games. Oh, sorry.
Like arguably, I think the handheld stuff left a more
Yeah.
indelible mark on all three of
I'm
our
realizing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
than any one TV related console.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've seen-
still play my Game Boys all the time, like every single one of them, you know, and I
I'm
love them.
neglecting mine.
Yeah.
I need the Game Boy Store on the Switch. It's too perfect. It's a handheld console already.
Yeah. Where is that?
Are you kidding
It'd be
me?
perfect.
But I'm realizing how many of these games were my first on the Game Boy. My
Mhm.
first Mario game, my first Donkey Kong game that I owned, my first Zelda game, my
Yeah.
first. I think I played Metroid. I didn't own it. I think I played it with my buddies. Like, you know, all these other games that are like, wow, my first Zelda game experience was actually on the Game Boy.
Have you guys ever played the original Donkey Kong on Game Boy, not Donkey Kong
Yes.
Country?
Yes, I love that game.
It's so good.
It's so good. I actually
It's so good.
I only found out about it when I was like 16 and had 17 and had the Game Boy player. I just got the Game Boy Advance player.
Mhm.
And I was looking up Game Boy games to play, and I was like, "Oh, Donkey Kong, okay." And I literally thought it was like the first 4 levels over and over again.
Yeah.
And I beat the 4th level, and I was like, "There's
And
like
then it opens up into
50
this really
levels?
awesome, like,
a mountain." or
oh,
something.
it's so
I was
good.
like, this is like, it was so good. And then that got replicated on like the DS with like Mario versus Donkey Kong or something like that. I
Yeah,
never
not
played any of
nearly
those.
as good. Those were more like
No.
puzzle games than
I remember
than
that game
platformers.
being
Yeah.
iconic. The
Mhm.
Donkey Kong OG.
It's so
That
good.
game was iconically good.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Agreed.
Have either of you played any of the other early handheld consoles, or what other exposure did you have?
Who, me?
Let's
Neo
start with
Geo.
Zach first,
that's
because
all I
we
did.
started with you last time. Let's start with Zach.
Right. So definitely those Tiger Electronics games. We had so many of those.
Mhm.
The Sonic one was a favorite. There was a Star Wars Millennium Falcon one that was dope, and like all it was the Millennium Falcon sort of back and forth, like
That's raw.
up and down.
I've played
the sides
that one.
of the thing.
Yeah.
That one
I
was
did
great,
not.
and just super straightforward. So yeah, we played a ton of those Tiger Electronics games. Those were cheap and easy, and like the only ones that my mom like could guarantee we were going to enjoy. Like she
Mhm.
wasn't going to go out and buy a Game Boy game, but if we were going on a long car trip to like Maine or North Carolina or wherever we were going for the summer, yeah, she would be okay with us, because like realistically, how long is that thing going to last? The battery, and
Right.
the
True,
answer, longer than a Game Boy,
Yeah.
Huh.
but like by a long shot.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
you know, we're still going to be entertained by it forever.
Interesting.
And like she would steal my Yahtzee one.
Yeah.
I had the Yahtzee Tiger Electronics game. That little handheld was great, and hours and hours and hours of entertainment.
Oh my God,
Solitaire.
I had one of those. I can't remember what game it was though.
Yeah.
Those
Those
like
were great.
Sorry, maybe it was something
Yeah.
weird.
Yep. The football
I had
one.
the football
too
one,
easy.
Adam. Don't pretend like it was yours. It was mine.
And then
I remember my friends had that. Yeah.
obviously the Game Gear. I have like Sonic and other things for that. Aladdin was on that, and it was hard as hell.
Aladdin is as hard as ever. Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously the Nomad as well.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's so
Stole
cool.
it from my buddy Nathan for a while.
Yeah. Josh, what about you, man?
Really, the only other experience I had was with the Game Gear. My buddy had a Game Gear, or no, it was a Neo Geo actually. No, I think it was both. I think
We're gonna
briefly
talk
played-
about Neo Geo next week.
is
Was
that
there
the
anything?
next gen?
Mm.
I think I was like 12 years old. You're right. Yeah. So Game Gear, then Sonic and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That a little bit. My buddy would like bring it into class and all that, but like I was obsessed with the Game Boy.
Yeah.
There was no shaking that.
Yeah.
I played some Virtual Boy when I was a kid too. That was kind of interesting, but
Nice.
really only played Virtual Boy in college, like for the most of it, and like it was blinding. Just kidding. Did we find that out? Did it blind anyone? No.
No, I didn't.
It
There
didn't.
was definitely
Okay.
some controversy though.
Mhm.
There's a lot of controversy. I
Yeah.
can see that.
For me,
Yeah. Nintendo horror over here, pretty much.
yeah, for sure. Well, I think we all were then, right? Because like the
I
Game
think
Boy
for
was
sure.
so dominant, like
And
so
the
freaking
N64
dominant.
came out like right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah, it came out right after the Virtual Boy. In fact, the Virtual Boy was kind of released as a stopgap because the Nintendo 64 was delayed.
That's true. Makes sense. Just like throw out some crap hardware.
Yeah. But for me, my next experience with another handheld of that era was the it was the Game Gear, and we went to Adam's talking about it in chat right now. We stayed at a Howard Johnson hotel, and like Adam and I really pushed for us to like, you know, I think we were going down to Alabama or something to visit some family friends, and we have to stay at a Howard Johnson. We have to stay at a Howard Johnson. And we got
That's so fucking funny.
We got a Game Gear, and I think we had Echo the Dolphin, because Hojo would give you a free or you could rent it or something, I don't know. Echo the Dolphin and maybe one of the Sonic games, and we played it for maybe a half an hour and the batteries died and we didn't get to play anymore.
Damn,
Sonic 2 and the Hulk. Yeah, okay, that sounds right. Yeah. Yeah, so we didn't get a lot of exposure to that at that time, unfortunately, but it was still cool, right? We were very excited to check out the Game Gear. And then my next experience with any other handhelds other than like the Tiger games was way later, right? So like I did get a Nomad eventually, but this was way after. You know, this was probably in 2005 that I got my Nomad from a friend. You know, maybe a little earlier than that, actually, now that I think about it. It was probably 2003. Because I graduated in 2004 and I stopped hanging out with that guy. So,
that guy.
Yeah. He's an interesting fellow. I'm not going to say names. Adam knows exactly who I'm talking about, I'm sure. But
you have very specific memories of these things.
Yeah, very specific memories. But yeah, I mean, that generation was definitely dominated by Game Boy, and it was awesome. You know,
it was amazing.
It was absolutely fantastic. So,
you know what? Just like sitting here with my Game Boy, and just like I sat here, I just poked the button, the A button.
Yeah.
The physical sensation of pressing a button on the Game Boy is more pleasing, more satisfying than pressing a button on a modern controller.
Oh yeah. Dude, the Game Boy buttons are fantastic. Even on the Game Boy Advance, like
agreed.
Absolutely.
Never had any button issues either.
Yeah.
Right.
Me neither.
They never wear out. They're just
never wear out. How'd they do that?
And I'm like, I've got my Super Nintendo controller right next to me. It's similar, but it's not. Yeah. It's not the same as pressing a Game Boy button.
It's not.
I agree.
I don't know if it's the weight. More batteries.
This is an obvious one. What console held up the best / what games held up the best
the Game Boy,
from the generation, or and why? Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. I'm not going to point it to you guys because we all agree it's the Game Boy.
I'm glad we all agree for once.
Like categorically, it dominated. So
just have the best games, the best gaming experience.
But something that is more poignant, and we might have different answers for this because we all had. Even though Game Boy was our most dominant console at that time, I think it influenced us all differently, right? Because we all had played different games and so on and so forth. What's the overall influence of these handhelds, would you say? Let's start with Josh.
The overall influence is the sheer magnitude of variety of gaming combined with the ability to put gaming in a different light. Gaming now was a home console experience that was itself an experiment off of the arcade experience. Mm-hmm. And now we are getting a handheld version of that. Now you can walk around with an arcade in your fucking pocket, not even 10 years after the experience has started, after the experiment has started. You know what I mean? This is revolutionary. You can bring it to your friends. We get the link cable. Like, this was where co-op was like thriving. From the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy, and N64, we were all playing together. Yeah. It was absolutely incredible. And the Game Boy was amazing because you could literally be like, yo, check this out. Let me get your Blastoise, bro. I got a Venusaur for you. And you're hanging out with your homies and everything. And I don't even know what the exact pin I'm trying to point at it is, but like, it just really like, it flowered open like what gaming was capable of. I feel like it literally put a giant arcade machine into your fucking hand for the first time ever, and you could walk out the door with it.
I think I got you, Josh. I think I know what the word you're looking for is, and that is viability.
Oh yeah, viability. Yeah, and it was for everyone too. Yeah, there's something for everyone.
It is now viable and proof positive that gaming is absolutely everywhere and can be everywhere. Well, it's still a wonderful, delightful, nostalgic feeling to walk into an arcade, which is usually now coupled with a bar, so that's exciting.
Yeah, usually.
That is okay. So great, we've transferred that arcade into your living room. Okay, what's the next step? You have that game with you all the time.
Exactly.
And these games, they were self-aware enough to say, okay, we're only going to get a few minutes of playtime in, so let's maximize the value out of that playtime. If you're playing 6 golden coins, you can play one level, put it down, put it away. If you're playing Pokemon, you can save anywhere you want. Literally, as we were talking about earlier in the show, it's save states. It's absolutely just save states.
Before you go into that Denny's on that road trip, save real quick before the Elite Four.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, those games have so much replayability. We continue to go back to them today. The cartridge that I've got in this Game Boy right now is Ms. Pac-Man, but I would still play that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna take a little different route from you guys. Because I think the influence overall in gaming is pretty obvious. I'll be a little more personal here. It's no secret that I'm dyslexic, and when I was a kid, I had an insanely hard time learning to read. And my first game, the game that came with my Game Boy, was The Legend of Zelda, which isn't like a super complicated game, but it requires some reading, and like that was like, I wanted to play that game so bad, like I wanted to understand what was going on and absorb that story and just really live in that world. And like, that was a huge catalyst for me to like actually get over a lot of those hurdles that I was having with reading at a young age. So, for me, like the Game Boy, I think was pivotal in that. And I'm sure there's other people that had experiences like this.
Oh, yeah. I learned how to read from this. It was like having a Kindle on you, dude. Link's Awakening, like playing that as a 7-year-old. Yeah, I learned lots of words from that.
Dude, my friend Gabe used to call RPGs like book games or reading games. Yeah. And
I would always my mom would be like, "You don't read in games." I'm like, "I'm reading like a script, like literally that long."
Yeah.
And so the word then, Paul, for you is approachability.
Yeah.
It opens up a new world, a lot of new
words too.
New world for you to then enhance your actual real world experience.
Yeah.
I like that.
I say at the top of every Zach Sucks at Games, I did not grow up with video games. That is very true. I had this, but I didn't have any actual consoles of my own. But I really do think that the limited time that I was able to spend playing things like Zelda, made me want to read more.
Yeah. And oh my God, 10-year-olds playing Elden Ring right now are going to be like grabbing encyclopedias off the shelf.
Those don't exist anymore, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh yeah, off the phone. Sorry.
Yeah.
But so dude, we were literally told to bin our encyclopedias. My first year teaching, we were told to throw them away.
Oh no.
No longer viable.
Phones.
Those poor encyclopedia salesmen.
I know. I smuggled one out. I still have a World Book Encyclopedia collection circa 2006.
My parents have one of the encyclopedia set, and I'm like, it was never opened ever. I think I looked at them once in my entire life.
That's hilarious.
Like, why do we have these?
Anywho, video games, man, they're awesome. Handhelds are awesome. They're like, I've had more fun with handhelds than any other console. Not to say, not to take away from everything else, but like genuinely, like handheld gaming, it was such an awesome thing, and it got me through so much. And like, I don't know what I would have done without a handheld.
And I would say it's arguably being brought back pretty strong. We have two very viable handheld consoles currently. Obviously, we're not talking about the future of gaming right now.
Sure.
I mean, as a kid, if I was like a 5-year-old kid with a Switch or a Steam Deck, I would be super fucking over they would be like the equivalent, I would say, except like maybe far way too much. Like, as far, you know, used to just like 6 golden coins, and now you can like look at everything in the world. But anyway, aside from that,
any other final thoughts, guys?
I'm hungry.
Well, that about wraps it up then.
Yeah, we got Elden Ring to play, guys.
If you're watching, I'm going to bed. If you're watching this live, you're watching it on my Twitch channel. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Currently playing through Elden Ring. On Saturdays, I play a samurai game always, and because I've been playing as a samurai in Elden Ring, I've been making an excuse to do that.
Just for like 2 years.
Yeah. We'll see. I might. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway,
go find another game to play. Yeah, good one.
There are other games that I want to play for some reason.
No, there are.
I mean, I'm not quite finished with Okami, and I also really want to play Getsu Fumoden. Really bad. Yeah, but Elden Ring.
It's so fucking
so good. Anyway,
Zach hates us right now. I'm sorry.
And then we're back here on Sunday nights for the podcast. If you want to yell at me on Twitter, it's at Ryugami-sama, and that's my stuff. Josh, where can we find you, my guy?
Find me at Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV and all my other bullshit socials and what have yous. I'm playing Elden Ring in my free time, not streaming it. You can't even watch me do it. Go fuck yourselves. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. But I might stream some Donkey Kong soon. I've been wanting to get a world record run in. Probably do a few runs in a few week time period. I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know. I did want to stream some Kirby. I said that would be the next game to stream.
You should.
I did say that. And I think that would be a good refreshing game to stream, because Elden Ring is not a very good game, in my opinion, for me to stream, at least, because I really want.
It's a little stressful to stream.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And like, certain fights are like an hour of trying, and I'm just like, I just want to like explore and relax in it, because it's so stressful as it is. So like, the streaming would just make me die a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, on Thursday I didn't rage quit, but I was so stressed out from that first castle that I was like, and fortunately it was towards the end of when I would stop streaming anyway. But I was like, I got to end it here, because I'm just like really stressed out.
We finally did that castle, and it was insane.
It's so hard.
So fun.
I think the castle's harder than the boss of the castle, in my personal opinion. Anyway, Zach, where can we find you, man?
You can find me rolling my eyes at Elden Ring over on the Another Letdown channel.
He's jealous.
I'm hella jealous. I'm just gonna be honest. I am finishing up Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. I'm just finishing up some street level side questy stuff, and then getting into Miles Morales this week.
Nice.
Very excited. On Wednesday night, 6:00 p.m. Eastern time, and then taking Friday off. No Arkham this week, and then we will be painting miniatures on Saturday, doing Marvel Crisis Protocol and other things.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thanks again for joining us tonight. Don't forget to check it out on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, Patreon. I don't know. We don't have a Patreon. But yeah, that's it. And everyone have a great night. We'll see you guys next week.
See you later. Yeah.